Guys, we're back on the Screen Team, and I've got another special review for you here tonight. And we're going to have to do this one kind of quick because our special guest reviewer is going to have to leave very, very soon to be a part of a big production over at the the Rogers Theater. So we've got Hillary with us. Now, Hillary, tonight is night number 2 of the big rehearsal for Murder. Can you tell us about this production and what's going on with it?
Sure. So, Alex Dennison is a playwright. 1 year ago, his fiancée, Monica Wells, supposedly committed suicide, but he believes otherwise. So on the anniversary of her death, he has assembled all of these people who were part of their lives, producers, actors, whatnot, and he has written a selection of scenes, and he is trying to figure out who actually killed Monica, because he's not buying the suicide. So
he's not having it.
No. So the audience has to try to figure out who has killed Monica as well, and there's some twists and turns, and
it's a whodunit kind of production, and it's going on tonight and also next weekend as well. So stop on by the historic Rogers Theater after you get done listening to the Screen Team and enjoy a great production from the folks over at the Poplar Bluff Stage Company. Now, our next review before you go is a movie, and it's one of your all-time favorite movies, right?
Yes, it is.
It's called Across the Universe, and this film is a film, how would you describe it? It's like a fantasy musical, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. It was directed by Julie Taymor. She is she was the director and costume designer for the Broadway show for The Lion King.
Oh, very nice.
And she won Tonys for her art direction, and she helped design like all of their puppet masks and everything. Yeah. And you really see that in this film, just her artistic eye.
Sure.
There's a lot of just these fantastical puppets, throughout in some of the scenes, and but yeah, I would say it's a fantasy musical. It takes like 30 plus of the Beatles songs and just sort of creates a narrative and follows a group of people through like a couple of years through the 1960s. And
of course, 1960s had a lot of, a lot of major events happening with the Vietnam War and, racial injustice and things of that nature. So there's a lot of strife, and there's also a lot of happiness in this film as well. What is it about this film that makes it so special for you? I know that you love musicals, but what is it about this one that makes it above the rest?
I think the thing that makes it important to me, firstly, was that just the music itself, the McCartney and Lennon McCartney songbook. And
so, are you a big fan of the Beatles?
Yes, yes, that was you sort of inherit your parents' musical taste.
Sure.
And so that was something that I inherited from my parents, and loving the Beatles, I think, really makes this a fun film to watch. So any Beatles fans, you're going to want to watch it, and not just with the songs and stuff that they have featured throughout, in song, but some of like the musical motifs. Some of the songs that they're not performing for the characters are interwoven as like interludes or score music, and there's all of these little fun Easter eggs to and trivia that sort of nods to personal tidbits about all of the Beatles members or other songs that just didn't make it into the film. There's people quoting song lyrics all the time, and the song's not in the show. But it's fun to watch out for all of those things, just as a fan of the Beatles. So
let's talk about a couple of our main characters in this film. Evan Rachel Wood she plays Lucy in the film. Yes. What did you think about her? She sings a lot in this film. Did you enjoy her performance?
Yes, and she's not really someone you would think of as a singer. She's really spent a lot of her early years in her career as an indie actress, and she's one of the people you think of as more of a serious kind of actor. And so seeing her in a musical, I think it gives you another side to her, and her singing voice is lovely.
I agree.
And it takes a lot for someone to act and sing at the same time, and just knowing that she does not do that on a regular basis, and just seeing the raw emotion that she can put into it, as someone who does not do it on a regular basis, I think it's a testament to her talent.
And Jim Sturgis, he plays Jude in this
Yes.
film, and he's got that Cockney accent, doesn't he?
Liverpool.
Oh, whoops. Got it wrong.
Yes, and another Beatles reference because they hailed from Liverpool.
Right.
Or
And
John Lennon did, I think. Everyone else,
from what I understand, he kind of played a John Lennon-esque type character in this film.
Yes, a lot of the events in his life were in the character Jude's life were mirrors of John Lennon's.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he was raised by his mother, the fact that he did go to New York for a while, as a young adult.
Yeah. These people really did their homework, didn't they?
Yes. Well, Paul McCartney was in contact with Julie Taymor through the creative process.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine he probably gave his input, and I think she also spoke with Ringo a few times as well. But
favorite scenes, what do you like?
Oh goodness, I love one of the scenes towards the beginning, the bowling alley scene.
Yeah,
I've just seen a face.
Where they're just like sliding on the.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, dancing in a bowling alley on the lane where there's all that oil and whatnot, and they didn't give it any traction for anyone because they wanted them to slip and slide, and they're jumping over the lanes, and I think that's just so fun to watch, and that's when Jude realizes, I think I love Lucy. So that's fun to watch, and I also, what else do I like? I also like the Happiness is a Warm Gun. It is Max's character has come back from Vietnam, and this is not super lighthearted and fun, but artistically it's really neat. He's in the hospital coming home from Vietnam, and he's had some injuries in addition to his mental and emotional state not being at its best.
Yeah.
So he's needing some morphine. So you kind of see his trip down the morphine high, and Salma Hayek, thank you. Yeah. She cameos as the Bang Bang Shoot Shoot nurses, and so you see her, and there's like 7 of her or something. So that's a good one. And and when Max is getting his examination because he was drafted. What's it? Which song is it?
I don't remember.
Oh, he's in there, and they're dancing. It's all of the soldiers. They're getting their examinations.
Right. Can you sing it for me?
Is it I Want You? And it's sort of there's that scene of it, and then you see that later in the apartment, and JoJo and Sadie are singing that to each other. But it's I Want You, like Uncle Sam wants you. So.
See, Hillary just schooled the DJ today. Can you believe that? One of my all-time favorites in this movie is when Bono shows up. If you're a fan of U2, Bono shows up and he does.
I Am the Walrus.
I'm the Walrus.
Yes.
Yep. So that's one of my favorites from the film. So do you have to be? It probably helps if you're a fan of the Beatles to enjoy this film, don't you think? Or can you go in not knowing anything about the Beatles and still like this film?
It's a bonus if you know the Beatles, but you don't have to, just because there's so much going on visually, and because the relationships between the characters. I mean, the love between Jude and Lucy it's just pure. I mean, they come from completely opposite backgrounds. Lucy comes from an educated family, and she was supposed to live her life a certain way.
Sure.
And Jude is from London, or not London, but Liverpool, and across the world, and he's actually in the country illegally, and he has a different family background, being raised by a single mom, and he's an artist, and Lucy is working for the cause and the war against Vietnam, and so just seeing their love and commitment towards each other, and seeing how they're affected by the turbulence of the times, which pulls them apart for a while.
Sure.
It's a story that I think anybody would enjoy. You don't have to like the Beatles. It's just the characters the characters tell the story, and the cast does it really well. And
the music is amazing.
The music is amazing. You'll be singing after you watch it for days.
Hillary, I appreciate you coming to the studio. I know you're very busy. You've got a show tonight, Rehearsal for Murder, over at the historic Rogers Theater with the Poplar Bluff Stage Company, and it's going on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th as well. So be on the lookout for that, Rehearsal for Murder, over at the historic Rogers Theater. For Hillary and Chris, we're part of the Screen Team, and we want you to know before you go.